So Dhruv, the T20 caravan now moves on to the US. The T20 World Cup is going to be played in the US and the West Indies. Interesting, right? India, the cricket is trying to find a new market, a lucrative market, get new sponsors, get a new fan base there. Thoughts about that?
Interesting point of view on this is that
And you follow a lot of American sports, so you understand.
no, I
a lot
do.
of-
And the first thing that came to mind was that I follow both the NBA and the NFL. I'm a subscriber to both their apps, and anyone who watches US sport, we get up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the NBA and to watch the NFL. What's extremely interesting now with these cricket matches that are I know there are a few in the USA, is that they're starting at 8 p.m. India time, which is about 10 a.m. in the US.
This is prime time here.
Yeah, I know, but who's got the time to watch this in the US? Even the Indian diaspora, I'm sure, have to go to work or have got. So it just shows, Akhil, that, when we say new markets, new countries, we always knew that this was so dependent on India and the Indian market and the Indian diaspora abroad. But now it's to such an extent that even a country where, and America is the biggest platform for sports marketing, sports business, but the matches there are still being scheduled at a time that caters to the Indian audience. And this is what, it was a very interesting discussion on TalkSport that I was following the other day, is that, yes, we like overseas viewership, but we don't really care about it because we know that the viewership is all Indian broadcasting. So while we're looking at the US as a new market, we're still 99.9% dependent on people here.
So what is this new market then? What fan base are we trying to get if the timings are not going to be US centric?
Yeah.
The TV viewership is all going to come from India. Is there an American based sponsor who is going to be interested in?
I think we're just targeting the Indian diaspora. Everyone who's immigrated to the US, who have families. So Indians in the US love Bollywood and love cricket. This is just for them. It's going to take a very long time for cricket to crack other demographics in the US. Soccer, football has taken a very long time in the US, and it's only now starting to see the fruits after many years of investment, right? Cricket is going to take a lot longer. It's moving in the right direction, but I think we have to be realistic. Even if we're looking at Major League Cricket where they've replicated the franchise model, it's all the Indian IPL owners who own a majority of all the franchises. So it's Indian money, it's Indian sponsors, it's the Indian broadcasters. So that is something that is interesting from 2 points of view. Is that, where are we looking at America as a market, or are we just looking at the Indian diaspora abroad? And it's hilarious that we know the ICC is dependent on India to play a maximum number of games. That's from a commercial standpoint. But to see the timing change to this level is something that's quite interesting. I know India-Pakistan's on a weekend.
Yeah.
But what about the
rest of the matches?
Yeah. So are people going to take time off work? Are they going to go and watch, 3 hours of a game? Because 10 o'clock in the morning. And what's also interesting, Akhil, T20 cricket now around the world is almost completely played under floodlights.
Yeah.
Where you play. So
except the Caribbean League, which again tries to cater to Indian timings.
They also play during
Some of the games are played during the day there.
Oh, okay. Well, there you have it. So now we're even tweaking playing conditions so that it caters to the Indian audience. Because then India will not be playing any games under floodlights. If they're starting at 10 a.m.
The West Indies ones, I guess, yeah.
That's interesting.
I was curious to know what is the economics of taking cricket to the US. How is it going to help grow the economics of the existing cricket economics that already exist?
Yeah.
Will the broadcaster in the US be paying a lot more money because the cricket is being played there? Because frankly, the crowds that are going to be coming there
will just be Indian fans.
They'll all be
Pakistani
Indians.
fans.
A lot of people will be traveling from India or across the world. So it's not like there are a lot of tickets going to be available to be sold locally for even local US citizens to come and watch and enjoy and learn the game. So in my mind, I was calculating and trying to see if there are any US-based sponsors who then come in and become a part of the ICC sponsor roster to support the game. But I don't think
the
has
jury is
happened so
out
far.
on that because a majority of the ICC sponsors are Indian brands. And I think what's also interesting is that what's taken place recently in India, where Stars India business has now entered into a JV with Reliance, so where it's effectively one conglomerate, and they buy the rights for these ICC events for a majority of India games. I mean, we've never forgotten the 2007 50 over World Cup where we replicated a football format and India went out into the group stage, and it was catastrophic for the broadcaster. I mean, that's why every subsequent World Cup, we had to have a quarter-final. Now we've gone straight to a semi-final, and that's not being disrespectful to the Indian players or being disrespectful to India in any way. It's just that it's the reality of the business. And even now, the broadcaster it needs to have these India matches, because I think more of the television money,
Inventory.
the inventory is sold catering to the Indian audience. And that's why having even the India-Pakistan game is quite important for the broadcaster. So I think that is something that is very interesting. Is this going to open up more doors for cricket in the US? Time will tell, because their franchise competition, Major League Cricket, is going to start a week after this T20 World Cup.
And it's done pretty well last year.
And one thing that people also need to follow is that the most similar sport to cricket in the US, baseball, is the least popular among all the franchise leagues at the moment. Baseball, a lot of Americans find baseball too long a sport, too many innings. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this caters. Are Americans going to look at it with curiosity? I'm not sure. And this is again where the whole Virat Kohli angle came up. I don't know if you saw the video Sports Center used about him, is that they are using the point about how he's got the third or fourth most Instagram followers among global athletes. I mean, that obviously is obvious because India has the highest number of Instagram users in the world. But I think that the ICC are using every kind of
trick.
Yeah, to promote the game. Is the game going to catch on in the US? We're being very unrealistic about it because the game is struggling in traditional cricket markets, right?
Yeah.
So like England and Australia and South Africa, as we've seen. So the jury's out. I don't know how the pitch is even going to play in New York in a stadium that's built from scratch. It's a great experience, obviously, for the players. But like I said, I mean, we'll have to wait and see how this carries on. I mean, the funny thing is that you're not going to have primetime audiences in the US even watch these games.
It's going to be difficult for them to follow it, especially.
Yeah, well, they can't, right? Because it's 10 in the morning. So everyone's at work. So apart from the Indian contingents there, it'll be interesting, yeah.
Okay, interesting viewpoints we have about cricket moving to the US for the T20 World Cup. Love to know your thoughts. Please do send us your comments about what we've just spoken, and we'll be back to discuss those.